ABC 10 News at 5 starts right now. And we begin with former President Trump's historic second impeachment trial. It is now underway. Why Trump's defense team claims the same evidence that Democrats are presenting will exonerate him. Plus, a Navy sailor shot and killed in his own front yard. The killer is still on the loose tonight. What we are just learning about the victim. And as COVID-19 rolls out, the vaccine rolls out, we go in depth about how certain drugs might interact with those shots.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
And good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson. I am joined remotely by my co-anchor, Lindsay Pena. We're going to be checking in with her shortly. But first, it is official. President Trump's second impeachment trial will go on. Day one just wrapped up with 6 Republicans joining all 50 Democrats in saying they believe the trial is constitutional. Before today's vote, House impeachment managers showed footage of last month's Capitol riot and charged that Trump is culpable for inciting that riot. ABC's Faith Abube shows us the arguments being made from both sides.
Congressional Democrats kicking off the first day of Donald Trump's second impeachment trial for incitement of insurrection.
The Senate will convene as a court of impeachment.
Lead House impeachment manager Jamie Raskin recalling the terrifying attack on the U.S. Capitol January 6th that's led to this moment. Even before opening arguments, Raskin previewing the Democrats' case, showing the timeline of how Trump fed a mob of his supporters lies about the 2020 presidential election being stolen.
Fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Motivated them and sent them towards the Capitol to fight.
Senators, this cannot be our future.
But Trump's defense team already arguing that same evidence will exonerate the former president.
We can't be thinking about that. We can't possibly be suggesting that we punish people for political speech in this country.
Some of Trump's own supporters, however, blaming him for their actions on January 6th.
There's a million of us out there, and we are listening to Trump. You're the boss.
An ABC News investigation finding out of 200 accused Capitol rioters, more than a dozen claimed they were following Trump's guidance. But as the trial begins, the first step is whether holding the trial itself is constitutional. Both sides getting up to 4 hours to argue if an impeachment trial of a president who has left office is lawful.
And after hours of presentations from the House impeachment managers and Trump's defense team, lawmakers here on Capitol Hill voting mostly along party lines to move this trial forward, saying it's constitutional. Opening arguments begin tomorrow. Faith Abube, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
And we will continue to have live coverage all this week of the impeachment trial on our streaming apps. You can watch by downloading our free 10 News app on your phone or your streaming device.
A Navy sailor has been identified as the man who was shot and killed in his own front yard. That deadly shooting happened on Saturday in Chula Vista. Police are still trying to find the killer. As ABC 10 News anchor Vanessa Van Hefty explains, the victim leaves behind 4 children.
Chula Vista police say 36-year-old U.S. Navy Chief Ramon Joseph was shot to death here outside of his home Saturday night. Police got a tip of a suspicious vehicle and then reports of shots fired. Paramedics tried but couldn't save Chief Joseph. The U.S. Navy telling us he was from Louisiana, his duty station on the USS Steatham. Joseph was a career counselor and a father of 4, a senior enlisted member of the Navy. His pictures on this Facebook post from the Ombudsman reads, "It is with heavy hearts that we share the tragic news of the death of one of our treasured steelworkers." It goes on to read, "Joseph left an indelible mark on each of our steelworkers. Through his charismatic speech, sage counseling, and humble approach to mentorship, his magnetic personality attracted all steelworkers to seek his guidance for both career progression and personal growth. His cheerful disposition, professional demeanor, and warm smile challenged each of us to persevere." The U.S. Navy saying it is not releasing an official statement at this time. Vanessa Van Hefty, ABC 10 News.
Police say the motive is not clear. They're actively searching for anyone with information and tips.
All right, turning now to coronavirus and some promising signs across the country. The U.S. reported fewer than 100,000 new cases both yesterday and Sunday. Those are the lowest single daily case totals since October. Meantime, vaccinations are slowly going up. The government will be delivering 1 million doses to 6,500 pharmacies this week.
Very excited to transition from phase 1A to this next population and offer the vaccination to the communities we serve every single day.
That was a spokesperson for Walgreens. CVS also started administering shots this week. The CDC says more than 32 million Americans have received at least one dose. That's about 10% of the population. Here in San Diego County, more than 426,000 people have been vaccinated for COVID-19, and more than 81,000 have been fully vaccinated, meaning they have received both shots. The county will not be moving law enforcement officers higher up on the priority list to get vaccinated. Today, County Supervisor Joel Anderson proposed moving law enforcement to a higher tier. He made the case that all first responders get put in situations where there is a COVID risk. Opponents have said they did not feel that younger, healthier people should be moved up ahead of those at greater risk right now. The board voted against that proposal 3-2. And a lot of people are wondering how certain drugs might interact with the COVID-19 vaccines. Doctors say timing might be important. Our ABC 10 News anchor Derek Stahl is going in depth on the science behind the recommendations.
People who are about to get the COVID-19 vaccine are told to expect some mild side effects. 70% report pain or soreness at the injection site. Roughly 1 in 3 experience fatigue or a headache. So it might be tempting to take some pain medication like Tylenol or Advil before the shot. But hold on.
If you had a choice, I wouldn't take it before, I'll take it after.
That's because some over-the-counter pain meds work by blocking chemicals in your body called prostaglandins. Prostaglandins cause those flu-like feelings, but they also have an important job.
It's like a bugle horn.
UCSF infectious disease expert Dr. Peter Chinhong says prostaglandins summon immune cells.
So they're like the bugle calling out on the battlefield to say, hey, troops, come. So the idea is if you make the volume softer, maybe not as many troops will come to the battlefield.
By fewer troops, he means fewer antibodies. But he notes it's more of a medical theory than a fact. One study found mice that were given ibuprofen produced fewer antibodies against the coronavirus. Ibuprofen is the active ingredient in Advil and Motrin. In humans, the data is mixed.
There was one clinical trial that did involve a preemptive acetaminophen, and that was the Oxford AstraZeneca trial. And it didn't seem to make really much of a difference in terms of the immune response or not.
Dr. Christian Ramers of Family Health Centers of San Diego says studies from before the pandemic suggest preemptive pain meds might make a difference, but the evidence is thin. A 2016 study found kids who took pain medication before getting a vaccine produced fewer antibodies, but a larger study found it didn't really make a difference.
The evidence isn't conclusive at this point.
Dr. Chinhong says you should get the shot first, then try simple remedies if you have pain, like a warm towel or moving your arm around. If that doesn't work, he says it's okay to reach for the pain meds.
After the shot, the immune system's already been there and mobilized, so you're not going to make it mobilized less.
If you want to be extra careful, consider the brand. Ibuprofen-based drugs like Advil and Motrin affect prostaglandins the most, so you might be better off with an acetaminophen drug like Tylenol, although experts say it's just an educated guess. Derek Stahl, ABC 10 News.
And even though the CDC recommends that people avoid pain medications before getting the vaccine, doctors say people who regularly take the drugs for chronic conditions like arthritis should stick to their regular routine. And right now, several families are protesting, demanding that the Oceanside Unified School District let students back on campus. They say the data shows that it's safe for schools to reopen and that there won't be outbreaks. Many school districts have said that they are not being given the resources or state guidance to reopen safely. The teachers union also says it is not safe for them until teachers are vaccinated. We are reaching out to Oceanside Unified for their response to this protest.
Everybody, including my wife, including myself, as a parent of 4 young kids, young athletes, want to know when our kids can safely get back to competitive sports, get back to competitive sports. We've been negotiating the details of that. Real progress is being made.
And that was Governor Newsom in Santa Clara today. He's been under fire for not releasing guidance that would allow youth sports to resume. Newsom says he understands the parents' concerns, but that sports falls under the bigger umbrella of how to safely open our schools in general. Currently, only sports that allow for social distancing are allowed. For now, Newsom says the state is working on plans to allow for more of the youngest kids to return to class.
Small businesses struggling to apply for the latest round of PPP loans may have an easier time getting a low-interest loan straight from the city. It's an offer we're digging into as part of our Rebound initiative. And as ABC 10 News reporter John Horn explains, this money comes with more strings attached.
The rooms at PB's Ocean Park Inn are empty these days. The hotel is hoping its $8 million renovation soon pays off.
We're going to be very dependent on a good summer or a mediocre summer at the very, very least.
Owner Elvin Lai says the hotel has been surviving off grants and loans, including a PPP loan. On Tuesday, a new option emerged. The cities of San Diego and Chula Vista are offering loans of $25,000 to $95,000 at 3% interest, well below the typical 7 or 8%. And no interest accrues for the first 6 months.
This seems like something that would definitely benefit us, and then we can make the judgment what we want to do in 6 months.
But unlike PPP loans, the city loans are not forgivable and must be paid back within up to 78 months. And businesses must use the money on a specific project to help adjust to the pandemic, such as buying furniture, safety equipment, developing a website, or digital marketing campaign.
This product will be good for a lot of businesses that have a specific plan in mind for something that they need to change.
Small businesses in manufacturing and innovation, trade and logistics, defense and tourism will get priority, as will businesses in underserved areas. Sunil Gakreya, owner of Sunny Perfumes in San Ysidro, said taking on unforgivable debt is too risky.
That's like basically, oh, don't close the store right now, but close in a couple of years.
The county, however, is hoping to divvy up tens of millions of dollars in grants should a new round of federal stimulus pass. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
Businesses with up to 250 workers in the cities of San Diego and Chula Vista are eligible. We have a link to all of the requirements on our website. Visit 10news.com/rebound. And some much needed rental assistance is coming to San Diegans struggling to make ends meet because of the pandemic. Today, the County Board of Supervisors approved using $52.2 million in emergency state funds toward rental assistance. That means the county now has over $100 million to help residents struggling to pay rent. The county says it will soon be opening up applications on its website for those who are interested. And you can keep up with any developments surrounding the pandemic by downloading our free mobile app. Just go to the App Store and search 10 News.
Police say that they arrested a man carrying a shotgun near the border today for making threats about shooting people. This happened just after 1 o'clock in the 700 block of East San Ysidro. Witnesses say the man started yelling that he was going to kill everyone while holding the shotgun. But when officers showed up, he took off running, was later found just trying to hide. No shots were fired. The man now faces felony charges, including brandishing a gun.